This one was weird to me because I felt like this one was coming for most of the season. Really, after the Cardinals beat the Cowboys on a Monday night and followed it up by 2 blowout losses to division rivals, I thought this isn't sustainable in Arizona. And that was just a few weeks after the ugly incident on the sidelines with Amari DiMercato after he dropped the ball right before the goal line. There was the shove and the push. It's like, man, this is just a bad look. And Jonathan Gannon has yet to really flourish from a wins and losses standpoint in Arizona. But the Cardinals kept their plans so close to the vest that no one really saw it coming. And my regret is I wasn't shouting louder and louder, how can this continue? They've never, for all the bad seasons the Arizona Cardinals have had, they've had 20 double-digit loss seasons since they moved to Arizona in 1988. This is their first 14-loss season. How in the world can this be sustainable? Are they that dysfunctional that they're not going to fire the coach who's responsible for the first 14-loss season in team history? Well, they were, and they planned it all along. They just managed to keep their mouth shut. I don't know why they didn't go ahead and make the move during the regular season and start the process of looking for their next head coach, because it gives you a head start. You can start interviewing people who aren't connected to other teams. It really is bizarre. They waited until the very end as if they didn't know until after they got that 14th loss that they were going to do it. I think that's baloney. And Devin, some people were convinced that Jonathan Gannon was safe because of a video that was making the rounds. And there's two of these examples of the hug. It used to be the happy birthday wishes on Twitter were the kiss of death, and Jonathan Gannon got those. But both Raheem Morris and Jonathan Gannon got the hugs not long before they got the boot. That was more of a perfunctory, yeah, I'm giving you a hug and then I'm walking away. Look, that one doesn't sell me. This one, though, this is Michael Corleone hugging Fredo, apparently. I knew it was you. Is that what he's saying? I knew it was you to Jonathan Gannon. That was before the final game of the season. And if you see the whole video, Bidwill, the camera's on him the whole time. He's on the sideline, and Gannon's doing something else. And Bidwill, he goes over, he seeks him out. It wasn't just chance meeting. Oh, hey, the cameras are on. We know the cameras are on. We got to do this hug. That's what Arthur Blank was doing with Raheem Morris. I got no choice. It's going to be awkward if I do the Tom Coughlin to John Merrill walk the other way, if you remember that, when Coughlin got fired by the Giants. This was Bidwill going out of his way to walk out to the middle of the field. If we have the full video, go ahead and play it. From the sideline, walks out to the middle of the field. Gannon sees him, and it's this bit. Here he goes. Here I go. Hey, I'm a billionaire. I don't walk to anyone. They walk to me. I'm going to walk to Fredo. I'm going to make the march out to the middle of the field. Jonathan Gannon's busy getting the team ready. Jonathan Gannon is going to notice me at the last second. Here I am. Hey, happy birthday. Look at that. Yeah, I'm not firing you. Let's go get him today. Let's avoid the 14th loss in franchise history. And people saw that and thought, oh, this doesn't look like a guy who's getting fired. And I don't know if it was part of the setup. I don't know. When you can't win football games, you get your kicks wherever you can. Let's make everyone think we're not firing this guy. And then they fired him. And again, this is like Cleveland. Like, what's going to happen in Arizona that's going to be any different? The only difference is they aren't handcuffed by a Deshaun Watson type of. Oh wait, they are with Kyler Murray. There aren't much in the way of differences between Cleveland and Arizona, Devin.
And didn't you tell me before Arizona was the weird team that like they've never had a head coach past, what was it, like 6 years or something like that?
6 years. 105 years they've been around, and no one has coached that team more than 6 years.
Like that's just crazy, and it's because of what you just said. Each person inherits the situation from the guy before. And I remember as we were talking about the Cardinals team one of the weeks, we talked about maybe they're save, Monty Ossenforce, the GM there, and John Gannon, because like they got there and they had a Kyler Murray contract and situation already in front of them. They've never had that opportunity to now go and get the quarterback that they want. And that was the feeling. And I think the hard thing with all of these jobs and all these guys who are head coaches is eventually it always goes back to, all right, well, why was that person hired? And John Gannon was hired from the Philadelphia Eagles, how good their defense had played, and him as a defensive man. And the way they were losing, it turned into, I think we felt like when you turn on the Cardinals, like, well, their defense plays hard. It's just this offense. They can't get it right. And after that Cowboys game, it was just, teams marching up and down the field, and that defense wasn't the same. And they had some injuries in the secondary. But I think that was kind of the kiss of death for Jonathan Gannon in Arizona, because we didn't see what we thought we would see out of the defense. And I think the hard thing for the Cardinals they're not one of the organizations that they're not the team that we always talk about even when they're bad. Like the Cleveland Browns are known. I was like, man, the Browns are going to be the Browns and blah, blah, blah. The Raiders have this kind of long-standing fan base, the people that show up when they were in Oakland no matter what was going on. The Cardinals, it seems that like they can sometimes just fly under the radar. If they have a decent season, mediocre, everyone kind of just lets them coast along. Where now I do wonder, like, how many, Arizona's beautiful. Like, you would think people would want to be in Arizona, go coach this football team. I wonder, like you just said, when you wait to the last minute, do you wait because you already have a plan where, like, we know exactly the coach we want? We've already identified, hey, we got Monty Ossenfort here. He's a guy with New England background. Maybe he knows the guy that he really wants, and they've already worked together. I wonder, because of everything you just said, they kept everything tight. I wonder, does that now allow us to sit back and watch? Because they did that, everything's going to unfold, and they're going to go and get the exact guy that they identify that they want. Maybe that's the situation, because I think that's what they would need in Arizona, because, hey, they have a number 3 pick. But after that, there's not a lot that screams, hey, let's hurry up and get to Arizona.
And, I hadn't thought of this, but I have said recently that if Josh McDaniels hadn't had that disastrous short-term run with the Raiders, he'd be at the top of the list right now for head coaching vacancies after what he's done with Drake May. And when you think about how things went this year in Arizona, and I think back specifically to the ESPN.com item that I believe landed the day that they beat the Cowboys, Marvin Harrison Sr. talking about the offense in Arizona, and a guy who never speaks unloaded on how things have gone offensively with the Arizona Cardinals. And look, I've assumed that Marvin Harrison Jr. has been constantly hearing from Marvin Sr. about how Peyton Manning handles a team, how Peyton Manning runs an offense, how Peyton Manning basically works as a de facto coach on the field of the team, and they don't have that in Arizona. And you talk about that Patriot connection, I don't know. All of a sudden, I'm thinking maybe Josh McDaniels is on the radar screen for the Arizona Cardinals, but it is odd that they waited until the very end of the season and that they put out smoke signals that suggested they were staying put. When the usual suspects, the Rappaports, the Schefters, when those guys are under the impression that a guy's safe, and I never heard anything. I never heard, like, over the weekend I heard, hey, Stefanski's telling people he's out. Like, there was nothing to suggest that Gannon was going to be out, even though all objective evidence suggested that maybe he should be out. Maybe this is all part of the setup before they accelerate toward whoever they're going to hire. But I think that's the key. Watch these vacancies. Watch how quickly they do their interviews, how quickly this process moves, how quickly they get to second interviews, because that means there's a guy they're trying to move toward. Now, the problem is that McDaniels is the guy they kind of have to wait. He's got a job that is going to continue until the postseason run ends. And, of course, Devin hopes it doesn't end until more than a month from now when we're in Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara watching the Super Bowl between the Patriots and whoever manages to get there from the NFC. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.